own exit polling, and they validated what their exit polling was against what San Marino showed. So, but right, exactly. But it was very correct. Okay. I I I can't argue it.
Louis, that's not up to the commissioners. Doesn't the Secretary of State have to do that? Okay. Yeah, I had said they should call the Secretary of State.
And they did.
And the Secretary of State wouldn't do anything either?
Secretary of State took the information, and that's as far as it went.
Yeah.
Again, I think these gentlemen here could probably even tell you the same story. When you talk about the Secretary of State office, it may not be Barbara Stagaski, but it's the office itself and how it's established. I've had many conversations with people in the Secretary of State, and I got nowhere with a lot of things. I mean, it's just, they've considered themselves only an agency of go talk to somebody else.
How many times have people come to you and ask you things and you just can't do it?
There is those times.
And that's, see, and I understand the frustration because you figure you go to commission, they can get done, but there's people that you have to answer to also? Or?
Well, we answer to the people, okay? But when we go to the folks that we have to make to try to get change, legislation, BDRs, I mean, those are the things that we submit and try to get things changed. It goes to the legislation, we go up and argue, just like we did when we talked about the unions. We went up there, there was only one Congress assemblyman that even took it on, who was just a first timer, Mr. Nelson, from Clark County. And Dan Shinhoffen and myself went up and testified. And nothing happened. It went in the trash can. So it takes a lot of effort to get people to look at what you want to get done, and there you go. Sometimes it happens, and sometimes it don't.
I got one last question for you. Was the job more difficult than you thought it would be?
You know, believe it or not, when I first started, I thought maybe it'd be a little more difficult. But I have a pretty good background in management, and I have a pretty good background in research. So a lot of this job is research and communication, and it sometimes could be a lot more intense in regards to understanding what needs to be done and how to get it done, and who you need to talk to, and how you get it to it's understood. You have to work with your other commissioners, even though you can only talk to one, and you need to lobby that during a meeting to say these are the things you'd like to get done, and try to push them in that right direction. But you got to have the facts. The key is going after the facts and getting into the details. That's one of the things I like to do, get into the details. I can't talk to the other commissioners, but I know they like to get into some of the details as well. I know I get it into very deep. I spend 8-9 hours a day in the commissioner's job. I may not be in the office every minute of the day, but I'm there as much as I can be. Because either I'm out talking to people, trying to figure out why somebody isn't getting something done, trying to convince people that this is a good place to bring your business. We're on the road all the time looking to bring businesses in here. When I was 2013, if you look at the amount of businesses that are here that are brand new businesses versus now, you're going to see quite a bit. We have brought in probably over 300 jobs since I've been in this position. So I think we've done quite a bit. I know I've done quite a bit, and I can't do that alone. I have to have the other commissioners along with me, at least two more, correct. So I mean, it's a tough job to do that, and you have to, again, you got to have all the details to go do that. You can't just say, well, I know. Well, prove it.
I want to thank you for being here and everything. I want you to stay if you can. because we're gonna get to Gary and Ross now, because they probably have some more interesting information.
Well, I'll stay for a while.
Great, thanks. Go ahead, Gary.
Well, we want to, first of all, let him know that we've been speaking with you, and we see an opportunity. I'm involved in a development of a viral app called Go Viral World. We're also involved in an EVA app that's called EVA, which stands for Evolve. And what it does, it will allow individual users that come into the viral world in the EVA app to have total protection of their content. So if a hacker tries to hack it, it'll have watermarks and other things in it, and it can evaporate. And we see that as a big opportunity now. The reason why I'm mentioning that is that in talking with Anthony, we're looking at syncing the servers and everything here in Pahrump. When we do that, we see Viral World as probably a major hit for the whole global internet. Once that happens, with our ties to our code writers in the Silicon Valley and our programmers in Las Vegas, it will give an opportunity for Pahrump to get recognized as new and upcoming technologies that could be born out of here.
So what size pipeline do you need to go do this?
Well, we're not asking for anything.
Well, no, I'm just wondering, because right now BEA has a pretty good sized pipeline. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, this
will be
a huge opportunity, not only for businesses but individuals. We believe that within 1 to 2 years of its completion, there's no doubt about it, someone's going to make us an offer between $2 and $16 billion for that.
Oh.
We plan to take a bulk of that money and put it back into Pahrump in terms of development, bring in industry, bring in new technology-based companies here, and I see that happening, and we're committed to that.
That's more than what we need than more homes. We need more businesses. We have a lot of people who don't have jobs, and they need jobs more than they need more homes.
This will spawn a great opportunity in telecommunications and in other areas of communications.
That's a good thing.
Industry too, which is good.
Correct, and it's non-polluting.
We're not going to be looking for tax bonds. We're not going to be looking for tax abatements. We're not going to be looking for anything like that would put a strain on the on Pahrump of the county.
Our economy is pretty low. Our tax base is low, and we like to keep it as low as possible, so we don't hurt the seniors that are just struggling.
I used to be known as Indiana's best salesman.
Is that right? And
I brought the Japanese there and built the Isuzu plants. We brought Toyota there. We brought Daewoo. I brought a tremendous amount of overseas, and I had to overcome the psychological effect that it had on people there, thinking, "Oh my God, they're bringing foreigners in." Well, look, that's hiring American jobs. That's better than it going overseas. And so Deputy Director Alan Kimball to the Commerce Department used to say Gary Walters is Indiana's best salesman.
Wow.
So in my little tours around the world and travels, I always promoted Indiana. I met a few people here, and I took a likeness to them. And I have the ability to bring a lot here to this town.
Well, we're waiting. I wish I was going to be in the position to help you bring it forward.
And the opportunity also is that we've got to clean up some of the corruption that is here. And we know that a couple of the judges need to be thinking about a career change or something, because some of the stuff that they've done is you know yourself, Ross, you can comment on it. This guy, Ross, having heard your show, heard an individual heard the show, contacted him and says, "You got to hear this guy, Gary Walters." The next thing you know, he happened to know the former constable, and the constable said, "Oh, well, that's one of my friends." So he called me up, and he's going to come over in 15 minutes. Would you stay 6 hours?
Yeah, 6 hours.
And now you can't pry him away from me. And so he has put a tremendous amount of work into scaling this thing down to where it has a logical path, a sense that can be tracked. And I'm going to let Ross elaborate on that, but we do plan to do some good things here for the folks in the state and in this county. And we're going to do it, and we're not asking for anything.
Well, we appreciate that. I mean, I can't wait to see it happen.
Yeah, and it's moving very rapidly. Our websites will be up in a few days.
Now that you told me.
All of our agreements are being signed.
You told me I'm going to keep asking.
Oh, that's okay. We'll send you some information on it once we get your email. You're going to find it absolutely phenomenal. So go ahead, Ross. Let's
Well,
handle it.
as long as we're talking about the Secretary of State, let's get into a few things here. Number one of the things, one of the problems that we have here with the information Gary has is that we're trying to validate it, and we're trying to get copies of the minutes of the proceedings and the notes. We're trying to get copies of the actual bills themselves to see if the governor even signed it, to see if there was read 3 times. To see there's no information as to the yeas or nays on the bills. I mean, nothing can be validated to show that these NRS, which were passed, in mass, in violation of the Nevada Constitution, which requires each law to be only one topic, and the heading on it has to agree with the topic, and it has to be a single topic bill. This bill encompassed every single law in the state of Nevada that was passed at the same time, and at the same time, did away with all the statutes at large. So, but one of the things Gary's done is he's written a letter to the Secretary of State, and the Secretary of State said, we don't have it. We don't have legal custody or control of those documents, and we really don't know where they're at, but you can go to the State Archives, which is a little block building that sells souvenirs, and they talk about Lewis and Clark and arrowheads and things like that, So you go there, and then they say, we don't have it. We don't know anything about it. So here's something I just wanted to kind of let the people know about this. It says in the Article 5, Section 20 of the Nevada Constitution requires all the legislative records to be maintained by the Secretary of State, where it says in 20, it says the Secretary of State's duties. The Secretary of State shall keep a true record of the official acts of the legislature and executive departments of the government, and shall, when required, lay the same and all matters relative thereto before either branch of the legislature. Now, well, that doesn't include the citizens, but the Nevada Revised Statute 225.10, which is in itself, again, we're alleging that's unlawful as well, but that does say, then they passed this, they say, says that the duty to furnish certified copies of laws, records, and instruments the Secretary of State shall furnish on request to any person. Okay, now, who has paid the proper fee for it, a certified copy of all or any part of any law, act, record, or other instrument of writing or on file or deposit with the office of the Secretary of State, of which a copy may properly be given. Well, she doesn't have any of it. So, what does that mean? Well, first of all, as soon as Gary unleashed this manifesto of his, he sent copies to the governor and everybody else, and immediately Kenny Gwynn signed a bill into law that says that...
No, it was Governor Sandoval.
Oh, Sandoval.
Sandoval.
Sorry, Governor Sandoval. I stand corrected. Governor Sandoval signed a bill into law that says that prisoners do not have access to public records. So it says right here, 225.100, any person. So Governor Sandoval signed a bill of attainder into law in violation of Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution that affects a specific group of people and prohibits them from access to public records when it says any person.
Okay, hold that thought. We're going to take a break.